It's the Daily Dog.
Hey y'all, welcome back to the Daily Dog. Thanks for hanging out with me today. We are getting things started off right this week with a Metal Monday that is featuring some music by Black Sabbath. It has been since late August of 2022 since we last listened to music from Black Sabbath, but today it's a new year and it's time to get back to some of their music. Fairies Wear Boots is the song that we are going to listen to today, and I'm thankful to Brian, one of our Patreon members, for suggesting this one. Thank you, Brian. So, like I said, we listened to the entire debut, the landmark album from Black Sabbath back in August, and this song, Fairies Wear Boots, is from their second album, Paranoid, which was released in September of 1970. With this album, Black Sabbath continues to lead the charge in developing this new emerging style of heavy metal, right? It's earlier than I think it is. It's way back at the beginning of the 70s, right? So on this album, on Paranoid, I have previously heard and reacted to War Pigs on the channel, but I don't see anything else on the album that makes me think that I know it or that sparks a memory. So I'm eager to get to this one. Fairies Wear Boots closes out the album as its last track. So let's get it, y'all. Ozzy Osbourne is on the vocals, Tony Iommi is on guitar, Geezer Butler is on the bass, and Bill Ward is on the drums. The songwriting is credited to the band, but Ozzy wrote the lyrics, and we are going to be listening to the original studio recording. So let's take a look. Fairies Wear Boots by Black Sabbath. Off we go. That's a minor third. Up a step. They started in G, and then it was a minor arpeggiation, then went up to A. I guess we're warming up. We're going up, and now we're on B. B minor. We started in G minor, A minor, and now B minor. Okay. Down by step. Ha! Well, up to C sharp. They went. Every move has gone up a whole step. C sharp minor, like new keys. E, D, down to B to A. Got back where they started, G minor. This is a trip and a half already. We haven't even gotten any lyrics. And now it's swinging a bit. So Ozzy gets home late. He's frightened by what he sees out the window. He sees a fairy with boots dancing with the dwarf. Do, me, do, te, do. It's really similar to the Frankenstein riff that we heard just recently, right? He uses a similar note, just a different arrangement and a different rhythm. You gotta believe me, y'all. Fairies Wear Boots. It's got a really bluesy groove to it. Great personality in that little guitar lick there. So So we get a longer solo from Tony. I love that. I love the pitch bend. That's cool. So it goes up to A, up a step, and to straight rhythm. Up again, B. So they're going back to the intro. Okay. Same riff as before. B, A, right? And back down to G. And they're back in their compound meter. Swinging.
Yeah, fairies wear boots and you gotta believe me.
It's just fun listening to them. There's so much personality in their sound. The color of Ozzy's voice. Everybody, you know?
I saw it with my own two eyes.
Saw it with my own two eyes.
Right now. So I went to the doctor to see what he could give me.
He goes to the doctor. That's good, Ozzy.
He said, son, you got too far.
Son, you've gone too far.
'Cause smoking and tripping is all that you do.
Because smoking and tripping is all that you do. Apparently, Ozzy agrees. I don't know what that has to do with fairies wearing boots. Actually, the doctor's probably reacting to him seeing a fairy with boots dancing with the dwarf outside. He's like, you gotta lay off the stuff. Bass goes down a whole step. Back to G. I think that's gonna fade out. Fun song. It's got a lot more in there than I was expecting. I mean, they're moving key areas, not just going from chord to chord. They're actually moving key areas. And what I mean by that, friends, is that if you're in G minor and you go up to build a chord on A, well, the A chord that's in G minor is A diminished, and A is C and an E flat. They go up to A, C, and E natural. So it's a new key area. Likewise, when they go up to B minor from A, now we've got B and a D and an F sharp, right? Which is, I mean, we've got a B natural where originally in G we had a B flat. We had an F natural in G minor. Now we've got F sharp. So they're changing key areas when they bump the riff up a step. That's really, really cool. And then they're going back and forth between a compound meter or something that feels like it's swung versus something with straight eighth notes. Really neat. So I was reading in this morning on this, and I found an article in Guitar World. So when Geezer Butler was asked by Guitar World about the inspiration for this particular song, they asked if it had anything to do with a confrontation with some skinheads. And this is what Geezer said. He says, there used to be fighting all the time. I used to be a football fan, well, I still am, and I'd go down to watch the local football club, and I had long hair at the time. And then this one day, the skinheads or hooligans turned on the people with long hair, even though we were fans too. So after that, I couldn't go down there. This other time, we did this gig in a seaside town called Weston-super-Mare in North Somerset, England, and we had a fight with all of these skinheads. I think that's where the lyrics for Fairies Wear Boots came from. And as I read in more on that, apparently the skinheads back then weren't as much inspired by racism as they were just punks and anarchists and just troublemakers at large. That's why he calls them hooligans. And apparently many of them chose to wear boots. And so the rest is heavy metal history, right? And for what it's worth, Ozzy has said that he doesn't really remember what the song's inspiration was, but he thinks that the lyrics speak about taking LSD, which does explain some of the references to smoking and tripping, as well as seeing a fairy with boots dancing out your window with a dwarf. Who would have ever thought that something as just odd becomes heavy metal folklore, right? It's really, really a fun tune, and I'm glad to get off on a fun start to this week. A Metal Monday, kind of proto-metal. For me, there was no double kick, so I'm feeling all right, and off we go, y'all. That was Black Sabbath back in 1970 with Fairies Wear Boots. Thanks to Brian for suggesting this one. I very much enjoyed it. We'll get back to more Black Sabbath, but that's all for today. Thanks, y'all, for hanging out with me, and we will see you next time on another edition of The Daily Doug.